So this week, a very big game launched, at least one that was widely hyped, and that of course was Sea of Thieves, and I want to put it through its paces a little bit with a very budget-in system. You'll notice that recently the Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 3 APUs featuring Ryzen CPU cores as well as Vega graphics launched from AMD, and I feel like this game launch is a perfect opportunity to put the Ryzen 5 2400G through its paces with a new AAA game. The developers actually did us a great favor as gamers by giving us this infographic to sort of show us what to expect as far as resolutions go, as well as frame rates, with a variety of different hardware combinations, anywhere from running at 540p with integrated graphics all the way up to running 60 FPS and 4K with the highest end hardware you can buy right now. But you'll notice that nowhere on this infographic is any mention of AMD's Ryzen APUs. So we're going to go ahead and hook this 2400G up to a game of Sea of Thieves and give it a run and see just what kind of frame rates we can get. But I will note the APU, or rather the GPU side of the APU, is actually overclocked to 1600 megahertz, so it will definitely give us better performance than if we were running this APU at stock. And of course, memory is very important. We're actually running 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM running at 2933 megahertz for this testing. Now, although I am on an ultra wide, it's unlikely that I'll be actually using an ultra wide resolution, and the camera's going to be sort of off to the side because I got to go old fashioned with this since I don't have a capture card set up, and I don't want to use the actual PC to capture the gameplay for fear that that will affect the actual frame rate a little bit. So the camera's just going to be off to the side, and I'll put some sort of annotation on the screen to let you know exactly what resolution and settings we're running at. But I'm really just trying to get a feel for this game and to see what type of resolution we can expect to play it at, as well as what our frame rate is going to be. And one last thing before we get into the actual gameplay side of things, if you want to play Sea of Thieves for free for about 14 days, if you've not used your Xbox Game Pass free trial, which is a 2-week free trial, you can actually sign up and play this game for free for a couple weeks. So that's something to keep in mind in case you're on the fence of whether you want to buy this game or not. So I notice right now the frame rate, and granted I'm inside and I just walked outside here, we're looking at a frame rate of pretty bad at like 30-ish, falling below 30. Not really a great frame rate. Definitely sort of stuttery, and I don't know if that's just the game or the keyboard I'm using. Okay, so it turns out it was my keyboard was actually just dying on me. I had batteries that were dying because it's a wireless keyboard. So swapped out keyboards and we're good to go, and actually it looks pretty good at 900p. Just sort of running around here, we're at between 32, 33 FPS with jumps up into the 40s, depending on where I happen to be looking. You know, look at the sky and you can get up to about 50 FPS. But yeah, this is definitely a playable experience at 900p. I'm actually going to go ahead and bounce back into the settings and try 1080 again. So here we are at 1080p, and it looks like we're running at 25 to the low 30s on FPS. Maybe not something we would really want to do, because if you get into some fight scenes, for example, my guess is it's likely that this FPS count would drop down into the 20s. So really probably want to down the resolution a little bit. We're at 1080p, so we could probably try 900p, and we'll probably get a little bit better frame rate. Also, I'm curious to see once we're in the ocean what happens to the frame rate here. So let's go ahead and hop on this ship, and we'll see what happens. Wow, this is first of all, the water in this game is phenomenal, and honestly, 1080p is looking pretty good right now. But like I said, if you get into a bigger fight or a bigger battle, then I'm going to go ahead and guess that the resolution here would actually be a pretty good detriment. So I'm actually going to go ahead and knock this down to 900p. Okay, so we're definitely still keeping a really solid frame rate here. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. But I will say that it's extremely smooth. Like, I'm seeing no lag, no stutter, nothing like that at all. So very good so far on that front. So this game is definitely playable. on an APU, definitely the 2400G, and I imagine the 2200G, because its performance actually gets somewhat close to the 2400G. The 2200G, the Ryzen 3 part, would also probably be able to play this game. Obviously, you drop a few frames here and there compared to the 2400G, but this APU will definitely play this game. Now, for bigger fights, I mentioned a couple times, you're probably going to want to make sure that you're running at something like 900p, because if you are running at a higher resolution like 1080p, I could definitely see this struggling. Since I don't really have time right now to hop into a battle or find a ship to fight, then I'm not really going to be able to test that hypothesis out. But the more you add to the game, obviously your frame rate is going to slow down. So that is a quick look at Sea of Thieves with the Ryzen APUs. If you like this content, give it a like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you have played this game. Let me know what you think, because I really like the premise of it. It looks like a cool little adventure, though I know some of the reviews have been fairly negative about it. But you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. They are the same tag for your convenience. But as usual, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.